Hang on. Let me check, man. Let me check, Dan. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with my friend and legend Dan Spalding today on the podcast. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me again.
Listen, the honor is absolutely all mine. And yes, we are live on Facebook. I don't know why I just did that. But yes, it's working. We're good. We are good.
Thanks for having me again.
Uh, did you just hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Thanks for having me again. Oh my goodness. All right, let me back out of this. Boom. All right, here we are. We're going at it. So Dan, man, first time I had you on with Jamari. We did a two thing because you're her rider coach, obviously, and you help mentor her and all that good stuff, which is absolutely amazing. We need more people like you, Dan, for sure, that are willing to going above and beyond even for somebody like you just met and help them get out on the track and just here's leathers, here's this, here's that. It just speaks volumes of who you are as a character, and it's an absolute honor to be your friend in this short lifetime, buddy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, there's a few of the people we can talk about later on in the podcast that we've met throughout the process, and first track day to racer, etc. So
100%. Looking forward to get into it. And speaking of that, let's just jump into it. Dan, everybody knows what I always start out with, man. Tell us your journey. Where did it all begin on them twos?
for me, it really started about 4 years old on a bicycle. So my parents didn't have the money for me to obviously race motorcycles, so we started out on BMX bikes, jumping dirt ramps at probably 5, 6 years old. Coming home road rash the whole time. My mom was always pissed because I'd have to get scrubbed down and I'd be screaming in the bathtub because half my body would be road rash. Uh, and then from there, it started BMX racing. Did that for a long time through my teenage years, and playing around on a bicycle basically every day. That was my training. That was everything I did. A lot of people spend a lot of time in the gym. I just am not a gym person. I'd rather throw myself off a bridge than go in the gym.
Feel
Uh,
you.
so I just trained on a bicycle and then rode BMX until I was basically 17. Got my first vehicle, and then it was kind of like, okay, I'd rather drive a truck than ride a bicycle anymore. Teenage years kind of come and go, and then got my first street bike, 2007. So I was 21 years old. Bought a GSXR 600 as my first bike, and
Look,
my
funny
brother
story.
called me.
Go. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but funny story you said that. I've have had several Gixxers, but a good buddy of mine just bought one. Right, and the first question I asked him was over text. I was like, "Did it come with a pair of matching thongs?" Ha 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 ha. So I said this on a podcast not too long ago, and I get a message saying, "Oh, by the way, I heard what you talked about me on that podcast." I was like, "Bro, I'm just joking, right? It's all fun and games." So yeah. So
Right?
did yours come with a pair of matching thongs too?
No, it didn't. No,
Mine
it came
did.
with white wheels. That was the only
Oh
thing.
man, dude, you guys got ripped off because mine come with three pair. I hold up number four, but it was three pair.
Yeah. I only had the GS6Rs for. I had three of them actually. I had a '03, '05, and then a '06. So
Nice.
the '06 actually got stolen from my apartment complex thanks to my brother. He wrecked his 636 Kawasaki that he had, and it was parked in the parking lot. And then one day came outside and they were both gone. So that was
Thanks,
the end of
brother.
the Gixxer. So
Yeah.
I'm not upset about that. I won't ride another one at least, at least not under my choice. But
Unless somebody's paying, then yeah, I ride them all day long, right?
right,
Now
yeah,
there
it
ain't
was like
nothing wrong with Gixxers. I know a lot of people make fun of Suzuki's, but truth be told, man, what a bike it is, right? Like it ain't changed in how many years, and they're still out there full force
yeah.
getting it in. So it just speaks volumes of the manufacturer and the longevity of the motorcycle. So
They just have a really bad rep here in Florida. Everyone stretches them. Everyone rides in shorts, t-shirts, flip flops, and the normal squid name come out, and that's where GSXR
facts.
riders come from.
Well, no, fact is, I don't know if it's like that now, but back when I first got my street bike up for, I don't know, probably the first 10 years. So this was in 96 when I got my driver's license. Speaking my age, right? Dude, insurance on a GSXR was the most expensive because they were the most stolen and most wrecked bikes out in America at the time. So I bought a Kawasaki ZX6R instead, even though I wanted the Gixxer because that was the year the Sarag come out. It was just, man, that was a beautiful bike. So yeah.
Yeah, Good old school bikes. Yeah, insurance was not affordable, so we didn't run it here in Florida. Most people don't run insurance on their bikes, but they do get stolen quite occasionally here in Florida. Every day, I kind of see somebody's posting on, stolen from an apartment complex, this, that, the other. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it does, man. Thieves. I can't stand a thief. Just go get you a bike. You can get one. At least start out with a little moped. Do something. Don't take somebody else's shit. What is wrong with you people? Right? Because you break our hearts. You don't realize the impact you have. Like, we're sad, like devastated. If I ever had my bike stolen, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably set the state of Virginia on fire.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, it's super frustrating, and you spend a lot of money and a lot of time with these things, and then next thing you know, it's just gone, and you're like, what the hell? And then you get a phone call about 6, 7 months later that they recovered it, and it's frame and motor torched. That's how mine and my brother's were. So then we had to pay the wrecking fee. We had to pay everything like that, even though they were in stolen vans. So it's like I don't understand that 100%. So
Yeah, dude, this is a whole side of politics that I can't stand right here, right now. It's yeah, man. Like, what do you mean I got to pay for the shit? They stole it from me, and you recovered it, so give it back. I shouldn't have to pay nothing for it, right? It's like,
yeah,
yeah, man, I
yeah.
feel you on that.
And where's my frame? Where's my motor?
Well,
Never got them back. So
and if you don't have insurance on it, you're just fucked.
yep.
So yeah, that's why I carry full coverage, even on my RC51. So 03, I said I want full coverage on it, even though the blue book value on it ain't worth shit. Let's just be honest, right? But yeah, if somebody ever steals it, man, I'd be so pissed off. But anyway, Dan, I feel you on that. Living in an apartment, what I did at the time was I actually pulled my shit inside. I was lucky enough though; I had to live on the first floor, but you had to go down a set of stairs, so I cut a piece of plywood out. It was a hassle. I was dragging it out, put on the stairs, riding up it, riding down it. But you do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Right, got to protect it. Yeah, when I lived in Mount Dora with my ex and myself, we both had bikes, and there was like this dumb little room inside the hallway. So we made that a bike room. Everyone's like, "You park motorcycles in there?" I'm like, "Every day. I'm not leaving them outside." I was like, "I don't trust you guys around here." I was like, "Come outside, they'd be knocked over or be gone," and now I'm good.
Got a scratch on my shit.
Yeah, that's when I had the AMA Michael Jordan blue and white graphics on my GSXR. So
Bro.
everyone always loved that scheme. I love that scheme. Looking back at it, it was one of the best paint jobs in my opinion.
I absolutely agree, 110%. It's a beautiful bike. I mean, I miss Jordan being in the sport too because he brought sponsors that haven't been in the sport since Jordan brought him in, like Gatorade and U.S. Army and all that, right? That's what we need, outside sponsorships.
Right. Yeah, to get it
100%.
back to be like the 2000s,
Yeah.
early 2000s when the sport was booming, and we need some cigarette brands, we need some alcohol brands, but that's the issue right there. You could have some vape shops or something like that, but
But you can't have alcohol. But now they make non-alcoholic beer. It's super popular now. Shit, I drink non-alcoholic beer, so yeah, it's good. But why not? That's what we need. But enough about all that. Dan, you started late, in 21, getting your first street bike. That's what I love about the journey and the beautiful stories. Not everybody starts out at 2, 3, 5, 7 years old, right?
right.
I was big into BMX too when growing up because I didn't have my own bike. I rode all my friends' dirt bikes, but we wasn't riding dirt bikes. You bet your ass. It was on the BMX, jumping, scrapes on the knees, coming home, elbows all skinned up, crying. Listen, I get it. Nowadays, it's not like that. Everybody's on video games and on their cell phone or the Oculus or whatever. Nobody goes outside anymore. I tell, that's why I'm big on my son. I'm like, dude, put that down. Let's go outside. Let's ride scooters. We got scooters and we'll just zip through the neighborhood or go down to the creek or whatever it is, right? Um, but the times have changed, buddy. It's not like it was when you were growing up, man.
No, we didn't have all the cool technology that we have nowadays, and road trips were always boring as hell. Looking out the window, trying to find something to do. Nowadays, you just see the kid on the iPad. You're like, that must be nice, playing video games, going down the road. We didn't have that luxury. I think it was Super Nintendo when I was out. So
Yeah, I played Super Nintendo on some road trips, but that was when it first came out on the Game Boy and all that. But even then, Dan, growing up, I wouldn't even when the Nintendo come out, yeah, I did play it, but I'd rather be outside playing basketball, riding bikes, doing something.
Yeah, I was playing a lot of roller hockey as kids. My brother was 3 years older than me, so he always brought me as the goalie. I was always the goalie, so I was the one always getting hit in the face, and and dealing with that because nobody else wanted to be the goalie, and they're like, "Oh, I got a little brother. We'll make him the goalie." So,
Sounds
but
like
we
some shit I would do.
yeah, we lived outdoors. We didn't play inside. We always hated that. We hated rainy days. It always kind of pissed us off because it was like, man, oh man, we just want to go outside and play and do something, ride bikes, play hockey, go play baseball. Like we were active kids when we grew up. So
Yeah, man, that's one thing I miss doing was playing in the rain, making mud pies and building little paper boats and yeah, man, dude, I love outdoors. Still do. That's why I'm outdoors all the time. I like when I come home, I'll eat dinner, I'll go sit outside and just sit outside almost till it's bedtime, then come back in and go to bed. Can't get
yeah,
enough of it, man.
I work outdoors. I have enough of it. After 9, 10 hours of working outdoors, you kind of get enough.
I feel you, man. I like, one thing, dude, I love to do, man, is it's simple. Walk outside in the grass barefooted. I feel connected. I really do.
You can't do that here in Florida.
No, you can't. No, you're right. Yeah,
Get some
absolutely.
fire ants on you, or
Yeah. I don't miss those or the horse flies that would chase your ass around. Yeah, man. I remember them days. We used to catch snakes. And um, one cool thing me and my buddies did was I know this is where we're going off path, but man, we'd catch spiders in a little cup and bet nickels and pennies and dimes. Dude, if you catch two spiders, they don't have to be the same species, and you put them in front of each other, all them some bitches are going to fight. So we
right?
did that all the time, man. It was we tried to do it with snakes, but that didn't work. They just looked at each other. It's like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah,
That's funny.
it's awesome, man. It's good stuff, man. Now I'd be like, Rossi, what are you doing? Catching spiders. I'd be like, okay, let me grab me a cup. Let's let them
Right.
fight. Let's do
Been
it.
there,
Yeah,
done that. Yep.
yeah, good stuff, man. So starting late. How did you hear first of all about track days, and what made you start to being the legend you are at the two wheels?
So living in Daytona, obviously everyone talked about the Daytona 200. So my brother was like, "Why don't we go watch the race?" That was 2010-ish, I think 2009 or 2010. It was the night race when it was cold as shit, and Heron, throws his hands off. I remember him talking after the race. Cardenas crashed and going into the first horseshoe that year. That was the year we went for the first time, and I was just a little kid on the flip phone, you know, back when flip phones were the only phones out, and tried to recording it, and it was obviously horrible, you know. Uh, to even watch that video, you just see a bike come by at 175 miles an hour at night, on a flip phone. Obviously, the recording is terrible, but it just kind of sparked my interest, and I was like, "This is cool as hell." So how do you get into this? So then I started looking into track days, and my brother's like, "Oh, there's a track called Jennings. It's in North Florida." So we put 3 motorcycles in the back of a step-side Ford Ranger going down I-10 in Jacksonville. I actually had to trail brake because the back wheels were actually hitting the ground and the front wheels were off the ground. So the back bumper was actually scraping on the ground. It was pretty bad. But somehow we made it there, and we did our first track day. And obviously, everyone starts out a novice. You know, I was the only one that didn't have an ego because my two friends were the fast street guys. I was kind of like the conservative street guy. Never really pushed my limits. Didn't have any moments on the street, anything like that.
No squidding at all.
I mean, a little bit of squidding at the beginning. Going 160 down I-4 or down I-95. Doing a 6-gear roll on because I was too chicken to go through the gears. But besides for that, ended up at the track, and my first day, obviously they do lead follow, but there's really no coaching at a Jennings normal day. At least there wasn't in 2010. And at lunch, like the session before lunch, I was like, I need to go off first because I just kept running over people. And there was really no passing rules. Just don't pass on the inside. You can pretty much do anything else. But I couldn't pass people because I didn't want to be that guy that was like going to take somebody out. So I went out, and I went out first. I literally lined up at the first call because obviously we didn't have tire warmers, none of that crap, street tires. Did one lap, came around, and then did a flyer. And Dan, the guy that was actually the track medic and the guy in charge, meatballed me as I came by the first time. And I was like, why did he meatball me? So I pull in. I was like, is my bike too loud? He was like, no, you just did a 126. I was like, is that good? He was like, that's expert time. How many times you been here? I was like, this is my first time here, and that was my fourth session. So it became natural for me just to go fast.
I love it, man. I love it. He's like, holy shit, who is this guy? Come, Black Flag, come here. You come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He's
love
like,
it.
after lunch, he's like, you're good to ride the rest of the session, but after lunch, you're going to go to intermediate. Well, they ended up doing intermediate expert combined. And there was a girl out there in a Triumph 675. I don't know who it is, never actually met her or anything like that. And all morning, I was like, damn, she's flying this, that, the other. Well, I ended up passing her. So I was like, well, I guess she isn't flying anymore.
I love it, Dan. And
Yeah.
what did your friend say?
My friends were pissed. So they were actually pissed all the way up. We talked about it the whole way home. They were like, man, you're the guy that's always in the back, slow as crap. And look at you at the track. I was like, well, the track makes sense to me. You know, they're used to riding in one lane. So they didn't understand you can use the whole track. You know, that's what 3 lanes are there for. So it was kind of a blessing, but it was kind of a problem at the same time because I created some bad habits. Um, of body position. Not that I preach body position by any means, but I had none. I was probably the most upright guy. I didn't drag my knee that whole day. Uh, Ran off the track multiple times, just trying to go too fast, too soon. But again, that's where I think coaching comes into play nowadays, where you need to have that track day where you can just go out there and actually learn from somebody that understands how to ride.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny you said that because my first track experience, I got an orange T-shirt, CCS. Matter of fact, I was trying to find all my other. I don't know where all my other race licenses. I've been tearing up my house, but I got my very first CCS championship license. Look at this, 1999, baby. Let's go.
Right?
Yes, sir. So, yeah, man, I remember, dude, the orange shirt, the nerves, anxieties. I was just like you. Like I still squatted on the street, of course, riding wheelies, and we'd go out and run, blah blah blah. But I was more conservative. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna let you guys just do whatever you guys want to do, right? I don't want to die. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When we got to the track, it was the total opposite. I beat everybody. Wasn't even expecting it, right? Um, yeah, I remember my nerves going in. I remember showing up and dude, I didn't safety wire shit. I don't know what the fuck safety wire. Like, what are you talking about? And I tell this story all the time. I pull up to get tech and they're like, dude, you need safety wire. And I was like, the fuck is safety wire, right? But that's when I met in my first introduction to the track family. Some guy overheard me talking about it. He's like, hey man, what's your name? Come here, blah, blah, blah. And he helped me out, get it past tech and the whole nine. There I was. It was yeah, man, what an experience. Something I'll never forget.
Right.
Like the first time you put on your first leather suit, Dan, you feel like Superman. You're like,
Oh yeah, Ninja Warrior.
bro,
Like I could do anything.
anything. Valentino, who? Psst, whatever, right? Like
Ain't got
Matt,
nothing on me.
no,
Yeah.
Matt Mladen, who's that? Wait till I show up, right? Yeah. And then you show up and this guy passes you and you look down at your tank, you got this big pie. You're like, what's this pie for? Because you just got a whole helping of humble pie right there. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I was always humble.
that was my second track day. So I was humbled pretty badly by Louis Rafa, who's a Canadian pro, ran pro super sport for a long time. He's in the twins class now, does that in Canada still. And he came by me like I was standing still. He was doing like 16s and 17s on an R6 at Jennings. I'm doing 26s, and he blew by me like I was standing still. But then he came up to me and was like, "How many track days you been?" I was like, "This is my second one." He was like, "Get the hell out of here! Ain't no way." I was like, "It's literally my second track day." So we built that connection. I actually ended up buying one of his suits like a couple years after that. My Daytona suit was from him because we're literally like the same size. So he sent it down to me so I could run it at Daytona because I was like, I don't have a good suit. Mine looks like crap. And he was like, "Oh, I have my last year's suit. You want it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll buy it from you." So dirt cheap, sent it down. So I had Rafa on my back. Like there's a video on my Facebook where you can see Rafa. I wore that suit for a few years, so it was like, because I'm not a you know person that thinks that crashing is actually does you any good. Some people say, "Oh, you don't know the limit until you crash." Well, you know the limit when you do crash, and you also know that it sets you back 10 steps. For the average person, if you're not big money or you don't have a big team and you don't have parts and things like that, it sets you back 10 steps. It doesn't put you forward. It doesn't, you're not Marquez when you crash. So people will say that all the time. I know Mark Ten's had that conversation of, crashing doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't. All it does is teach you how to spend money.
Teach you how to stay broke. It's already expensive enough. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember buying, because when I got into it, I converted obviously my ZX6R to the track. So I bought 2 sets of plastics and all this shit, dude. I'm like, bro, where'd 8 grand go? Where does $8,000 go? I mean, there's all kinds of shit, clip-ons, blah 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 blah. And yeah, it's I sold my only Jeep. I had a Jeep 93 Jeep, had like 88,000 miles on it, original miles on it, and I sold it. My only vehicle to get to and from work and school and everything, right? Just to fund my racing habit. I mean, it was like, I gotta go. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. Yeah, I've been there and done that, man. It is a double-edged sword. You don't realize how much you're gonna fall in love to it and how much money you're gonna spend doing it, right? But at the point, it don't matter when you're fully into it. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Until you're flat out broke or your credit card's maxed out and you're like, I need this, or I need a set of tires for this weekend. I need a race. I don't have money for the race fee. So it's like, it adds up quick.
It does.
People don't realize that.
Nope. And that credit card takes a long time to pay off. Yeah. Still paying some off. I know, right? We all are. Let's just be honest. So yeah, it's but there's nothing in this world like motorcycles, like the community. I call it a beautiful circus, and racing and track days. And of course, now racing is different than track days, right? So some of my friends that race like you, they really don't have a lot of fun doing track days. They treat it like a test and tune kind of thing, right? Even then they get a little aggravated, where they just want to race all the time. Me, I always like both. Just seat time. It's all seat time. It's all having fun, right? I always kept it in my mind, man, I'm doing this for fun. Never fast enough to make a living doing it, even back then. Let's just be honest. So,
yeah,
it was my love, my passion, man. Let's go.
I mean, you always have that desire when you're at the track day to be like, I'm gonna pass this guy, but at the same time, you do it with a smile on your face, and then you tap your tail, and it's like, come on, let me show you a little tricks. That way, I can't pass you so easy next time. My brother would give me an inch because he's on that Ducati 959. So sometimes he'll give me an inch and think that he has all the power, but then I just kind of squeeze him out on my 4R, and he gets pissed because he's like, I couldn't get on the gas because you were on the outside of me. I was like, well, if you would roll that corner a little bit faster, I wouldn't be able to make it to the outside of you. So
break later.
It doesn't turn like that. I was like, well, maybe if you listened to me, it would actually turn. But
what do you mean it don't turn like that? I'm confused, right? Like, yeah. They are a finicky bike to set up and different for sure.
We took some of the stuff from the V2 from Daytona this year and put it to his bike, and it's made a world of difference for him. I personally haven't rode it. I don't like riding other people's stuff, even though I do on occasion, but I don't like riding other people's bikes. It always makes me nervous because a couple of my falls have been not my fault. It's oil related, or somebody crashes and takes you out in front of you. So it's like, I don't want to crash somebody else's bike. That's always my theory. But some people are like, if you ride it and you crash it, it's okay. And I'm like, well, okay, if you say it like that, then I'm gonna go ride it. I'm gonna ride it at 80%, but I'll try not to bring it back in the front end loader.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the back of a pickup. My apologies. Yeah. I used to tell my friends, when we was heavy in the street before we got on the track and all that, they're like, dude, ride my bike some cool, let's straight. And I'm like, hell yeah, I've never crashed one of these before. I'm trying to see what this is gonna be like. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. They're like, hold up. I'm not gonna crash your shit. I have crashed my buddies' bikes before, so I feel you on that. It's not fun calling them up and be like, bro, I just crashed your shit.
Yeah, endurance races, I've almost crashed Tom Keefe's bikes a few times. But the drayers are kind of annoying when they're in front of you, and you're like, I just need to ride with these kids. So that's about the time where you're pushing, because you're riding 95% for an hour, and you're chasing. Obviously the drayers are obviously unbelievably fast. So chasing them on their 400s always a task. So that's when you're pushing to the limit. That's pretty much the bike that I've almost crashed the most, was Tom Keefe's 400.
Yeah, and big shout out to Avery and Ella Dreyer. They're absolute legends of the sport. Future. They're legends now, but they are, future legends of the sport too as well. So fast. Love showing so much on
Hopefully they
race.
get little Carter involved. I coached Carter a couple years ago, made him drop 7 seconds on that old R3 that they've had. So he was the fastest person in intermediate, passing everybody. And Ella's like, oh, he ain't got nothing on me. I was like, you give him a couple of years, he'll be just right on your tail, if not faster than you. So
Oh my God, that's awesome. So speaking of coaching, man, how'd you get into coaching? And on top of that, hold up, Dan, do you get the same satisfaction of coaching and seeing somebody progress as you yourself do racing?
so I see more satisfaction, to be honest with you. Personally, I could care less how I do racing. I'm at that age where obviously I'm not going anywhere with this. It's just a hobby. It's just fun for me. Obviously, I want to do big races, things like that. The Daytona 200 is always fun. Um, Looking at possibly doing a twins race next year. We'll see what happens. You never know. Um, I wish they would allow my 4R into the twins class and let me build the motor, but they haven't allowed that yet, even though we race at Daytona with the other ones. So, um, yeah, the satisfaction is way bigger when you're coaching somebody and you take that person that's, maybe 10, 15 seconds off the pace and they drop, 8, 9 seconds in a weekend and they're just riding safer. That's the biggest thing. If they're doing things that are going to get somebody hurt themselves, crash a bike, and then you go behind them and you pull them off to the track and you're like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. You're going to take somebody out. You're going to take yourself out. Slow down to go fast. Like some people always hear that, and that's my philosophy too. Is sometimes just going slower will allow you to go so much faster. If you're going in that corner and you're so hot and you're on the brakes and you're just squeezing the brakes as hard as you can and you're like, I'm going to lose the front. And then you keep running wide. Well, that's not going to make you any faster. That's just putting fear into you. And I'm an advocate for riding at your comfort level. Like personally, when I ride 99.9% of the time, I'm at my comfort level. I don't scare myself. I don't have moments where I'm like, I feel like I'm going to die or I'm going to crash somebody else's bike or anything like that. Like I can push without pushing beyond the limit. And I think that just comes with feel. Um, I have really good feel with everything. As far as front end feel, any bike I ride, I can just tell when it's going to let go. And that's kind of like a good trait to have, I think. But you don't learn that. That's something that's naturally given to you. The BMX days when you're sliding a front tire around a berm, like that's where you get that feeling from. So
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got into coaching. 2016, we started the UCF program, the UCF Night Riders. So I was sponsored by a shop, and they were the factory or the supplied, factory school supported person. So they gave away a lot of stuff to the school to allow them to do the track day, and I was sponsored by them. So that's how I got into coaching and did that for since we still do the UCF days, and I was an advocate for four groups with them because it's educational. With the UCF program, the school spends a lot of money to allow their students to go to the track. So I was like, if you have a novice group and an intermediate group, but what about the people in between? Like, there's too big of a gap, especially with them, where you had people doing like 28 lap times and you have people doing 47 lap times that are intermediate. So that's 20 seconds. Somebody's going to get hurt. You have that closing speed. You got that guy on a leader bike that just wants to go fast between 2 and 3 at Jennings. So it's like, let's break them into groups, and that way we can work with them more too. UCF always provides 10 coaches or something like that. So it's nice to be able to work with individuals instead of being like, oh, you have 7 people you got to work with today.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to learn in them 7 people? It starts getting, even the line. If you're doing a lead follow, the line starts to get, off to the left or off to the right every corner, and then that 7th person's not even on the race line because they're following the person in front of them that's offline. So I like having 3 to 4 people to coach. That way you can work with them individually. You can do, one group, one session with this person, one session with that person, and then go back and follow up and see if they're doing exactly what you told them to do.
Yeah, it makes better sense too. It's you can dedicate more focus and attention on two or three people versus seven people. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
yeah, I can see where that would absolutely be a little bit aggravating at times, right? So if somebody was interested in becoming a coach, Dan, how would somebody do something like that?
It's basically just for them to be consistent, for them to be consistently, doing what they're doing, um, and having that discussion with a coach, just pulling us aside and be like, hey, what do I have to do to become a coach? Certain organizations obviously require licenses and things like that. My groups, we don't personally. And sometimes it's volunteer to be a coach. So take that person in intermediate, like maybe he's your friend. Hey, can I go work with my friend? But actually work with them. Like you see some people that are like, oh, I want to go coach. And then they're zooming around intermediate just as passing practice. And you're like, well, what are you actually doing out there? Sorry, Chris White. I'm going to shout you out right there. I've seen Dirt Rocket pass more people in the grass coaching than I can even count them on toes and fingers. Because for somehow he always ends up on the outside of people in the grass and still passes them. So shout out to Chris on that one.
Yeah,
But
shout out Chris. That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, coaching just comes down to having that desire to make people better around you. So if you're that person in the pits too, that's like, hey, you crashed. What can we do to fix your bike? Let's get the duct tape, let's get the zip ties, let's start piecing it together. Like that's a prime example of a coach. Somebody that's going to take leadership. Hey, let's help you get back out there, and then let's go make sure your brain's straight. You know, when you crash, people's brains get all whacked, and you want to make sure that they're safe to ride again.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I've seen a lot of people show up on their first track day and do a boo boo, right? And then they're totally, you see the fear in them. You're like, dude, you need to get back out there, calm down. Like, you need to have a real chat with them. And there's other guys and girls that go out there and they crash and they get back up and they come back in, they're screaming and they're hollering, I can't wait to go back out. Let's go. And yeah. And that's the thing about our beautiful circus, man, is everybody wants to see everybody succeed and thrive, right?
Yep.
And get back out there because at the end of the day, we're doing it because we love it and it's fun. If we're not having fun, we're not going to show up and do it. So the more people that are like that in the environment in our beautiful circus, the more at ease I think, especially beginners feel when they come into it, if that makes sense.
Well, they're always intimidated by the advanced guys, anyways. You can see it at the riders' meeting. Like, oh, that's an advanced guy, or he's got number plates on his bike. Let's stay away from him, and things like that. Where a lot of times the racers are the ones that can provide so much insight to them novice and intermediate track day people. They just don't ask for the advice,
Yeah.
and I think that's where you have to go chase them down. Hey, these are some of the areas for improvement. How do you feel in these corners? You know, if you adjust your line, it's going to make 4 corners better than just one. So it's us taking initiative essentially, and that's what a coach is. Somebody that's going to take initiative to see them problems and address them problems, and not just allow the rider to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over until they end up crashing.
And
Like everyone says they crash and terminate at Jennings. Like everyone crashed and turn 8 at Jennings. I've have probably 20,000 laps and turn 8 at Jennings and never even thought about crashing there because it's all line. If you take the correct line entering 7 into 8, you don't crash. And that's what I tell everybody. It's they're too shallow and then they run wide and they try to add lean, they try to add throttle, and then they end up low siding and ruining their day, ruining their bike. It catches the grass, catches on fire. Seen that many times. So
I've seen bikes totaled, a bunch of bikes totaled, right? People
yeah.
crying. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game we play. I mean, yeah. So we actually have a Thrasher. What is up, my man? He says, "Sup, Simco? No live on Facebook. Actually, it's supposed to be live on Facebook right now. I don't know. I got my Facebook up. It shows that I'm actually live right now. It's the red live. So you got to go to my personal Facebook page, and then you'll see me and Dan there, or my YouTube, either or. Remember, I was talking about Riverside earlier, Dan. So yeah. But anyway, coaching, I think one challenge too, you tell me how big of a challenge it is because you're the actual coach, not me, is trying to break somebody of bad habits.
It's super hard. That's why you got to nip it in the butt early, especially unsafe riding. Like when
Yeah.
people are just too aggressive, passing on the inside of novice, even intermediate, passing on the inside, just doing stupid stuff that's going to get somebody hurt. It's nipping it in the butt early, and or kicking them out. That way they can realize that their actions are going to obviously have great impact on them. And then they realize, wow, I just spent $250 and got kicked out in the first day. And then they usually come back day two and they're like, okay, I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to slow down and I'm going to actually work on my riding instead of worried about just passing people.
Yeah.
Because some people, that's all they feel like they need to do is, I'm out here to pass people.
Right. You're not showing up to win a championship. That's for sure. Like, let's just be honest. And I think sometimes, and we talked about this earlier, is ego. Ego has a lot to do to play with that, right? It's like I tell my friends, I'm like, look, dude, you need to leave your ego in the truck or the car or the van or whatever it is. Leave it there. Come into it with ears wide open, like a little sponge. I just want to learn it all. Tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can correct it and I can be faster and safer and have more fun out there on the track versus getting frustrating and causing mistakes and yeah, coming in with a bad attitude. I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it. Everybody's seen it. That's been in the paddock for shoot. Just go for 6 months. Trust me. You'll see it 100%. You'll see the little tension tantrums and like, what are you 5 years old right now? Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, it's But I think coaching is one of the most um, beautiful things you could do to give back to the sport too as well. Even if you're not a competitor where you're out there racing, but you're still doing it, coaching, teaching the future legends of our sport. And I say this all the time. Our sport's kind of, I don't want to say it's dying, but it needs to get better, right? So, what I mean by that, so I'll be at VIR. I hope to see everybody there as well. When you come there, when you're walking around the paddock, whether it's VIR, Jersey, Mid Ohio, wherever you guys and girls are going to be at, look at everybody that's 25 years old and younger, and everybody that's 25 years old and older. If you took all of them out, who are we left with? There's not a whole lot of future legends in our sport right now to take that mantle and run with it, right? So, coaching and like SFL mini GP program, whether you're in Jersey or South Florida, Apex out in California, and all the other little mini moto series around the United States. So that's why it's so important to get our youth into the sport, and that's why I'm a big advocate on SFL mini GP and what they're doing for our sport. It's absolutely amazing and magical. Um, and I know Moto America is doing a lot to help, with with the future legends of our sports, all the kids coming up in it to it as well. So, but that's what we need. And outside sponsorships, we already said that earlier. So, uh,
Yeah, for
my
sure.
mate,
To help the cost, especially in the junior cup thing,
bro,
if they had some funding, there would be a lot more kids on the grid. It's just so expensive for them. I don't even want to see what a race weekend costs for junior cup anymore. Essentially,
yeah, you mean the talent cup? Yeah,
Talent Cup, yeah,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah. It's this is a whole nother rant we can go down, but I feel like, is it good? Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with saying that it's particularly bad because it's not. I mean, it's a decent bike. The thing that it's got going for it that I see in here is the adjustability on it. It's a true race bike, right? So it's teaching the kids, what this setup does, what this does, what that does, versus the ZX4R or 400 that we raced in Junior Cup, right? Um, I see that side of it, but the cost. It's like, so I love BTR, Build Train Race. People hear me talk about it all the freaking time, right? If you can have a program like that, why can't we have a program like that for the entry level for the future legends of our sports to come in and get into Moto America where it's not so expensive on the moms and dad that can actually afford to come in and do it, Um, yeah. Yeah,
It would
that's
be
what we need to get back to.
it would be nice too if you took like a local rider that does normal track days and then throw them in the race weekend when Moto America's there. Just have him as like a wild card rider. If somebody would do that, like hey, let this kid show his talent. Like take one of the good kids that are at a local track day, and you're like, hey, have you ever raced? Well, I've done some club stuff, but you ever been on a Moto America bike and throw them on a Moto America bike for the weekend? Like, I think that would be so cool. I always said if I won the lottery, that would be what I would do. Take the kid that's on some ragged out bike that's hauling and be like, hey, go ride a purpose built race bike, and then if we can prove talent, put them on a bike. But that's big hopes and dreams there, you know, to win the lottery. So,
Uh, any kid in mind you would do that with right now?
um, not right off rip, to be honest with you, because I don't ride with a lot of kids anymore. A lot of the kids are now 16, 17 years old, and on good equipment already. Like Andrew Way is a prime example of that. If he was not on the Aprilia that he's on and was riding, you know, crap bikes, it would be like, okay, that kid's he's going somewhere too. So, um, but as far as like the younger generation, I don't ride with the smaller people. You know, Carter Dreyer is another, you know, person that rings, but I don't know if he wants to race or if he wants to follow in Avery and Ella's footsteps. So
We'll see. Cooper's
yeah,
another one. Cooper, he's super fast out there in the SFL Mini GP. Andrew Way, what a legend! Y'all guys stay tuned. We got one scheduled with him, even though he's been on here a bunch of times before. But Andrew's, man, I love him and his parents. They're absolutely amazing human beings. Nothing but hugs every time I see him, and I freaking love it. And Andrew is such a quiet, humble guy. He really is, you know, and he sits there and he just soaks it all in. He's always smiling. He don't ever seem frustrated. And to me, that's going far, especially in this industry, not showing a tantrum and getting pissed off and just being calm, cool, collected, even though things don't go your way. And that's part of racing. You know, we all have a vision and a goal. Dan, I know it's happened to you many times, like it's happened to me, and people are listening. You show up and say, okay, these are my goals. This is what I'm gonna do. And you go out there and this monkey wrench comes in, you know, and your bike's destroyed and you're just 2, 3 laps in. That's it. And it might not be your fault. But again, you got to understand it's part of the game we play, and we play it for a reason because we love it, right? Just don't lose that in translation when stuff goes wrong at the track, because it quite often does sometimes. And sometimes you show up with no expectation, like I'm just going to wing it. And you have everything just falls in your lap. You know, it's weird how that works for sure. Um,
yeah, 3 Daytona 200s, I blew up motors basically 2, 3 laps in. So then you're scrambling for the rest of the weekend trying to, you know, catch up to what you lost after changing a motor. Because obviously I don't have a big crew, things like that. It's all friends and family essentially that are swapping motors, trying to find a motor. That's, you know, my story of my life. Every time we've blown up a motor, it's we don't have a spare. So it's like, let's go find one.
yeah, break out that credit card.
Yeah.
Break it out. Yeah.
Who's got Cash App, you know, something like that.
Right. Who's got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, baby? Let's go. So we got Thrasher. Thrasher says some people just want to win the intermediate group. Some get upset when they get passed by a slow bike like mine, you know, and again, that goes all back with the whole ego thing, right? People don't, you know, I'm gonna get to his other comment real quick before I say this. It says he also says it's much easier to teach someone to use the ability of a bike and teach decent track positioning, racing lines on something slower, 100 horsepower or less. Um,
I'm a huge advocate of small bikes. You
dude,
know that, Chris. That's
that's what
why I
I was
ride
gonna
that
say.
4R.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It's you know, people got this stigma of, and I think this is part of the ego. They got to go out and have the BMW SR 1000 and the V4 and all this stuff, dude. Absolutely not. Buy you a 300 or a 400. That one set of tires you're just getting into it probably gonna last you all year, right? The cost of running it's not super high. You know, you're not paying Italian prices for a Ducati. I mean, dude, you're getting super bikes. The parts for that, even a 600 is just freaking retarded, right?
Yeah, you have 45K into
A
middleweight
600,
anymore.
right? Yeah, and that's not even top of the line. That's yeah, that's it's still a lot of money. But you know, a 400 or a 300, man, you're gonna learn so much. You're gonna have so much more fun. And then when you do make that transition into a bigger bike, um, you don't realize how much you learn from it. You really don't. So I'm a big advocate, just like Dan here, is on the small bikes, whether it's a Z125, a Honda Grom, a 50, whatever it is, get out there, rip it, grip it, smile, and work that front end. Let it slide, right? Grip it and just let it rip. Just let it eat and enjoy the emotions of it. And I'm a huge fan, but I think a lot of people are, they need, you know, oh, I need the 230 horsepower. I'm like, bitch, you can't even ride an 80 horsepower bike. It's wide open as fast as it can go. Anybody can get it. My grandma can get on the bike and go like this in a straight line. That's not racing.
So I've been riding at the track for 15 years now. The biggest bike I've rode is a V2. I don't even have any desire to ride a leader bike. If somebody let me ride their leader bike, I'd probably go out there and do pretty good lap times on it. But again, it would be like, okay, it was fun, but I don't need this because it's just more money, more tires. You feel like you're gonna die every time you ride one. Like you watch some of the fast guys. Like I've had the luxury of watching Stefano grow up and watching him jump from a 600 to a leader bike, and just the way he slides that bike, and he looks like he's gonna die every moment, you know. And I don't want to ride on that limit.
Yeah, it's 1000s are fun. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they suck. They're absolutely amazing bikes, but do we really need 230 horsepower? Like, but I keep asking the same question because, I mean, let's just be honest. Your top fast 10, 15 guys, they're not utilizing the whole 230 horsepower out there on the track. They're dumbing it down to go fast around the track. So again, why do we need 230 horsepower? It sounds cool, right? On paper, but it's MotoGP. You think they're using their 300 horsepowers? Absolutely not. They even admit it. They're like, no, we dumb it down.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's unrideable at that point.
It is. And this is the whole ego side of it too, as well, right? Like I told a buddy of mine, dude, he's like, dude, I'm gonna buy this $6,000. Like, $6,000? What the fuck is wrong with you? You can buy a badass 300 for $6,000 and go out there and have fun.
A built Ninja 400 for $6,000.
That's what I'm saying. It's already done. You don't really have to do. The only thing you're gonna do is fiddle with the suspension. But I tell people this: don't do nothing to it. Set everything in the middle and go out there and ride the shit out of it. Learn to outride that suspension, that stock suspension. Once you can outride that stock suspension, you've done everything you can do to it, springs and this and that. Then get you a cartridge kit, or if you want to spend the $4,000 on Öhlins or whatever, K-Tech, whatever, by all means, boo boo. But it's going to be a while before you outride that suspension. Period. You know, so.
Yeah, certain bikes too nowadays come with pretty good stock suspension. Like my ZX4, I put a linkage in the back so I could raise the rear because the rear was way too low at the beginning. But with stock suspension, I was only 0.6 of a second slower than my best lap time ever. Tire wear was shit though, so that's what kind of made you want to go, hey, I need some suspension because tire wear is just completely, trash. So you're like, well, I'm just killing tires, so I might as well put suspension on and then save the tire money, which will go back towards the suspension money.
True, but you got to get fast to that point first, right? And then but yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, there is ways you can get into racing cheaply, and I'm a huge advocate. Endurance. You want seat time? Sign up for a shit ton of endurance racing. That's what you do. I think endurance racing makes a rider that. So me and Dan, we're different sizes, different weights. I like my riding style. He's got his riding style, clip-on positions, all this shit, right? But when you endurance race, you got different people, whether it's 2 or 3 people, all different sizes, different body shapes, weights, all that, right? So all that shit goes out the window. So now you're learning how to ride this bike that's not set up for you properly fast. And once you wrap your mind around that and you finally get back on your bike where it is set up for you, bro, you're going to see those lap times immediately drop, and you're going to wonder where they come from. They come from that endurance racing.
Yeah, we had 5 riders when we did the Soprano one, at Jennings, and 5 guys, 5 different, like you said, 5 people want 5 different things, and you got to kind of, okay, we're going to build a baseline, but I'm the lightest guy. So obviously the suspension is set up for a brick, for me. But at the end of the day, I was right there with Ella. So, and she was on her bike. So, kudos to me, right, for keeping up with the child. But, at the end of the day, it makes it fun, riding something that's not yours and it's not even set up for you. And you're like, I could push this bike to the limit basically. And, and that's how everyone learns from it. So.
And you'll find that riding that bike too, you'll feel things on that bike that you don't normally feel on your bike because it's not set up perfectly for you. So you got to find ways of riding around that to still go fast, whether it's changing your body position, maybe altering the line a little bit, braking a little bit less, letting off the lever, maybe not so quick and just slowly let it out. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, right? Those little refinement steps is what really makes the big jump. Once you make the big lap times and you're kind of at a wall, that's where those little refinements really help you take that next big leap, so to speak. So Thrasher says, yes, Crago, I know it was you. So this is my mate all the way in the UK, Crago. He says, It's Craig O'Harris, by the way. I've raced in R1, but the most fun I've had racing is on. I don't know why it just went away. Is most fun racing I've had. I done on the Bandit 600 or the Ducati 620S, both 60, 70 horsepower, and absolutely on track. Yeah, yeah. It's again riding a fast bike slow is a lot more fun than riding a slow bike fast, right? Or I just messed
You
that
said that
completely up.
backwards.
Yeah, I said it completely backwards. That just goes to show, yeah, I'm not perfect, right? So ask backwards what I just said, but you guys know what I mean by that. Yeah, it's in. You know what though? That's absolutely the truth. It really is. Um, so all this motorcycle racing talk. I know you're a big skater. So how did you get into skating, bro? I watched that video you was playing earlier.
So I've been skating since I was a kid, obviously playing roller hockey, playing ice hockey growing up. I've been a huge skater pretty much my whole life. It's something I enjoy. Uh, that's my training, to be honest with you. I do it 3 to 4 times a week right now as I go roller skating. Different people. We have the same kind of community as motorcycle racers. We all kind of talk crap. We push the limits. We try to do new tricks, things like that. So it's the same thing. Um, and then we go to different rinks because of events, and you get invites, and it's like, hey, you get a friend that comes up. Like I got a friend that comes up to Orlando all the time that lives in Miami. So he's like, come down to Miami and hang out with us. And I was like, okay. So that's why I ended up in Miami yesterday, um, which is always cool because you see people that you don't normally see, or you see them at big events because we do some like 3-day weekend events. So you're at a rink Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you'll see them people, and then they go back to their home rink, and you might not see them for 6, 7, maybe a year. There's some people you don't see but once a year.
It's another beautiful circus.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So, which makes it super cool too. And then again, we all try to push the envelope of, what kind of tricks can we do? We learn from each other. So one person might do something crazy, and you're like, "How did you do that?" So then you try to do it too. It's kind of like doing your first wheelie. Like if you didn't see anyone wheelie, would anyone be wheeling? And you'd probably be like, no, not really, because it wasn't really a thing. But then once you see a wheelie, you're like, oh, I want to do a wheelie. You see a stoppie, you want to do a stoppie, right? So same
100%.
theory.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, wheelies was always something that everybody I think strives for on two wheels, right? Just because it's the cool factor. It's that ego that again, it's the ego, right? But it is cool. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
who doesn't like doing wheelies? I mean, wheelies are a lot of fun.
Bro, I'd ride a wheelie for a dog if a dog would ooh, dog. Oh. Right?
I
Yeah.
get in trouble at Jennings all the time for doing them.
Yeah, you can't do that off the track. That's one no, right? They're like, you can't ride no wheelies. I'm like, bro, I'm in a controlled environment. Why can't I ride no wheelie? Like, what are you talking about? Coming down pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Meatball
one thing going
flag.
on pit out, but I mean, I could see not riding them down the front straight. Like that could be dangerous,
Unless you
obviously.
win.
That's a different story. I always wanted to do one at Daytona, but you'd have to slow way down to do a wheelie at Daytona.
Yeah, because you're coming off that huge ass bank. Yeah. That could be dangerous for
I
sure.
rode a wheelie on the banking. That was fun coming after the 200 and getting back onto NASCAR 1 and 2. I rip a big wheelie going around the banking. It's definitely a weird sensation doing a wheelie on the banking.
I bet it is. You leaned over this way.
Yeah, you feel like you're just going to fall over to the left.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah, I could see that for sure. And I've had the honor to watch you at Daytona earlier this year. So it's
Yeah,
a
too
fun
bad we didn't
time.
get the race.
Yeah, too bad. Again, it's part of the game we play, right? Yeah. So next year, are you going to do Daytona in October?
I will be at Daytona in October on the 4R. We might do the team challenge with Andrew Way on the Ducati, the V2 that we ran in the 200. Well, tried to run in the 200 um, to make sure that bike's ready to go because we don't know who's going to be on it next year, if it's even going to be in the field. But supposedly we might put Andrew on it. We don't know 100% yet, but he needs to get a super sport license. So that's his biggest goal. So I think he needs the seat time on the big bike. And what better way than to win that class, right? if you were to win the overall on a Ducati, like you're pretty much
100%.
guaranteed a spot in the 200. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Andrew's definitely got the talent to do it. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Dude, I wish I could make Daytona in October.
yeah, it's always a fun time. I feel like it's way better than March just because there's no stress. It's just there having fun. Obviously national championships are decided, but at the same time, it's not like the 200 or Moto America weekends where it's everything's super stressful and you feel like you got to go 24/7.
Oh, listen, that's a fact because it's ran like military clockwork time. You got certain time slots, and bitch, you better do what you need to be done. And there's certain time slots, otherwise you're assed out. The circus is leaving town, and it will leave
Yeah,
you. So yeah, it's dude, club races are always a lot of fun to go to because everybody's more relaxed, right? Like it's don't get me wrong, I love going to Moto America and seeing my friends, but I know when I'm there, I don't get to spend hardly any time. It's hugs. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I'll give you a call later. We'll set up this, we need to schedule our part two, whatever it is. But on a club weekend, oh man, we can hang out all day. You go out there on the track, okay, cool. I'll walk around, do network, come back. We crack open a beer at the end of the day and chill and relax, right? It's not, and you feel it too. You feel the tension in the air versus Moto America and a club race too, for sure. So
well, I mean, you walk around the garage at a Moto America weekend, and what's everyone doing? Wrenching, right? Everyone's got their bike tore apart. Obviously the riders, 90% of the riders don't even touch a damn thing, but the crews have literally the bikes apart. At a club race, it's like, okay, I might be changing a tire, maybe changing some oil, checking a clutch, something like that. It's not crazy like you do at the Moto America weekends where you have the whole bike disassembled, and then
no,
you're like, well, shit, we got to make sure we have this ready to go in 25 minutes. So you
that's
don't have that scramble.
That's true. And then at the club events, man, it's the when they talk over the thing, everybody's like, "Shh, what they just say? Hold on, what did they just say?" When they announce, who's going out and what classes are coming up. Sometimes it's kind of hard to hear. Um, oh, I think we lost Dan. Uh-oh. All right, let's see what I can do. But yeah, listen, I hope to see every single one of y'all at Road Atlanta VR this year. It's coming up quick. Next weekend, not this weekend coming up, but next weekend. I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Rossi will be there with me. My wife will be there. Um, can't wait. Supposedly, two of my buddies are coming too. So yeah, we will see. Let me see if we can get Dan back up in the studio. See what's going on with Dan real quick. But yeah, tell me who people that are listening right now, who's coming to VIR? Are you guys going to be able to make it, or Mid Ohio or Jersey? I'll be there too as well. So let's see what happened to Dan. Where did you go? Where did you go, Dan? Where did Dan go? This is the kind of like Fon Waldo. Where Dan? All right, let's see. Let's see if he pops back in here in a minute. Like I said, I've been using Riverside for a few, trying it back out again, seeing, deciding if I'm gonna switch to stay with StreamYard, but I think I might stay. He says he's trying to reconnect. So let's see. Hopefully they'll let him back in the studio. I might have to send him another invite. Oh, there he is. You there? We're back. I can't hear you. Let me see if I can do something on my end. No. Let me see.
What about now? Can you hear me now? I can though. Yeah, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me though? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear
All
you now.
right. I just said that I wrote down when you actually dropped, and that way when I go edit it out, I know exactly where to go.
Yeah, it said reconnecting. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Riverside, what are you doing now? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not looking too good, is it?
Is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right. Um, but yeah, so are you going to be making any Moto America events this year? Not racing, but as far as spectating wise?
I don't think so. Just with work and everything like that, my vacation time's kind of already set in forth because of the UCF event with the Night Riders, and then Central Florida Motorcycle Riders, Daytona, and then I'm going to try to do the Roebling Road Round with Pan Am here at the end of August, and possibly Homestead to maybe salvage some kind of season, considering I have been broken the whole race season.
You don't ever go down and ride with SFL Mini GP at all?
No. I need to start going to Bushnell or something like that on Sundays and hanging out with some of the people. Even if I don't ride, just hang out with some of the people and, create them connections.
Oh, 110%. 110%, my friend. Dude, well, listen, if you ever decide to come up to VIR from Moto America, man, you can stay with me for free. You just drive up here and we'll go make a weekend out of it for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for that race again. VIR is always a cool track to watch.
Yeah, it's my home track. It's one of my favorite tracks, and it's local. So yeah, I'm excited we're back. It was boring the past, what was it, 3-4 years we didn't go. Yeah, it was like, what are we doing? This sucks, but we're back, baby. So let's go.
Right.
One question I did have for you, man, is you ever thought about doing like railroad racing, like the Isle of Man TT or the Northwest 200 or?
I've always thought about doing Isle of Man because I feel like I could learn the track. I'm pretty good at like studying maps and being like, okay, this is this corner, this is that corner. I really would love to do it, but I know the money that you have to pay to go there. It's pretty retarded. I know Israel was trying to do some of them races there, which is super cool. I mean, I'm glad to see that he was able to race one of them. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of scary too when you think about it. Like all the people that do lose their lives racing that race every year. So it's like, do you really want to push that envelope, or do you want to just kind of stay at a track?
I mean, dude, everybody knows I'm a huge fan of the TT. It's the most beautiful thing ever. Like, dude, close down public roads and let's let them go nuts. It's like, well, what are we doing, right? Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, I would. It's on my bucket list. I'm definitely going. So I can't wait. I can't wait to go one year. It's expensive to go.
Right, it's expensive just to go. Could you imagine shipping a bike and paying all that and then racing it too?
Yeah, big shout out to Israel, man. He went out there and raced the Southern 100, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty sure that's what it was.
yeah, yeah, for going out there and letting it all hang out. He actually the Ducati he was riding one of the races was my buddy Rob Oliva. He bought his 748 and took it out there and raced it. So yeah, man, and his 8482 as well. So he did good.
I think if I was gonna do the TT, I'd be on a twin. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to do it on a 600 or a liter bike. Like, absolutely not. Average speed of 136 miles an hour by Hickman. That's just absolutely unbelievable.
Bro, it's plumb nuts is what it is, but it's so beautiful to see. It's like, where else in the world, right? No other racing gets me as excited as the TT. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just my absolute favorite, right? Same thing with BSB. That's why I'm a huge fan of BSB, is because they race super bikes with no electronics, right? So it's the old school proper way of. And one question, dude, a buddy of mine asked me, he's like, how well do you think, like Jay Gagne would do over there in BSB? I was like, I mean, honestly, he'd probably do pretty well, but it might be a little struggle, obviously learning the tracks, but racing a super bike with no electronics on it, right? Because you can't rely on traction control or engine braking or none of that. It's all right here in your right foot. So
Well, we need more of that. I hate MotoGP right now. I think it's the most boring thing to watch. It's not boring to watch, but it's just like you just see the bike, the ride height adjustments, and all the electronics, and you could just see Marquez just pin it out of a corner, and they're just like anyone else would shoot to the moon, on any normal bike, and it's like, it's basically down to the tuner who can adjust the throttle position sensors and the traction control, and that's who's fast. All them guys are all capable of winning races. It's just a matter of who can do the best electronics package.
yeah, and people, since Marquez went with Ducati, I mean, it's the Marquez show, right? Let's just be honest. So he's already 100 points up in the championship already. It's we're
Yeah.
just now going to the break. He's definitely going to win the championship this year. I wouldn't bet against him.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. He would have to have like a season-ending injury. Not that you want to see anyone do that, but at the same time, he's wrecked how many times? So I don't think he's going to have that issue.
Yeah, and he's on a bike that allows him to, do what he does the best, which is go out there. And look, Fiona wants to say hi. You gonna say hi to everybody, Fiona? You gonna say hi? Yeah. I know. I love you too, Bevel girl. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, mine kept trying to jump on my lap. I kept pushing him down.
Oh, I keep hearing him snort too. It's freaking awesome. I smile every time he does it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. That's the microphone, silly. That's the microphone. If you was a talker, I'd let you talk. But she's definitely not a talker. She'll talk to the cat. Now, she'll get to going with the cat. But other than that, she's barely here.
Right. Yeah, my Frenchie's crazy.
My wife says she wants a small dog next. She's like, I want a little dog next.
Get a Frenchie. I'll keep you busy.
I like little Frenchies. I got a buddy. He dates a girl that has one. He's so freaking cute. I forget his name, but man, he is absolutely awesome. He's an awesome little dog.
Mine goes nowhere without a ball.
Love it.
He loves his ball.
Man, I love dogs. I feel like us, and I say all the time, as humans, we don't deserve them, right? Like, they are absolutely amazing, not creatures, but people, just like we are, So,
yeah, they definitely have a personality.
Dude, they do, man. Absolutely. And they're all unique in their own way, just like we are. 110%. So, yeah. Well, one question I did want to ask, is as far as your coaching and all that, you how did you and Jamari meet up, and how did all that come to happen?
So I'm good friends with her boyfriend, and he's another advanced rider. Been riding with him for a bunch of years, and then she came to the first track day, and then that's when he was like, "Oh, this is Jamari. Can you work with her? Because obviously I'm not a coach, so can you work with her?" And then that's how that relationship started, and we just went out there and just trying to push the envelope a little bit, and then she got into the mini stuff, and then just been progressing from there. So she did much better at the last track day. She's getting to where she's not afraid to turn the throttle. I did ride her bike just to see how fast I could go on it, and I was 7-8 seconds faster than her after a couple laps. So there's definitely some progress that she can still make on that bike, but I don't know. It's definitely slow as dirt when you ride something that's a little bit faster than an R3. That's completely stock.
Yeah, I mean, she look, big props. She's doing good. She's out there living her dream. So yeah, she'll only get faster and better too, especially with a coach like you. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. It's good to see, man. I love it.
And the many stuff, she got Christian Miranda, so that's another great road racer that's obviously proved himself back in the day. It's super fast, and I'm glad that he's in the mini stuff, teaching all these all the up and coming stars.
Oh yeah, he's helping my boy Coop and Mason McIntyre. Yeah, he's helping them a whole lot. So Chris is a legend. If you guys missed the podcast with me and him, you guys should go back and watch it. We talk about his infamous Daytona wreck and the whole nine. So it was a good time. And stay tuned because he's coming back on. So we got a lot more to talk about. But yeah, he's awesome, man. I love it. And so Jamari hit me up. I was like, hey, are we still good for our podcast? She's like, well, I got to get ready for this race weekend. I was like, all right, we'll reschedule for sure. We're giving you a hard time, Jamari, is what we're doing right now. So
Yeah, she said I can't see the recording, so she did say that. I was like, well, we'll talk crap about you while we're on there. So
absolutely we will. And that's what we're doing right now. Was it pun intended, right? Nah, but it's hey, stay focused, doing what you're doing, and yeah, get faster. So she's having a lot of fun. So it's all that
right.
matters. I ain't worried about it. We'll nail her down. We'll get her to sit down. Don't be nervous, Jamari, to do it by yourself.
She did the endurance race too. I know that they finished on the podium, so
I
props
seen
to
that.
that.
Yes. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it, man. It's again doing what you're doing, giving back to the sport, coaching. Whoever it is, whether they're already fast or just getting into it, you make an impact on people's lives, and they'll never forget it. And then they'll pass that knowledge on to their friend. Hey, look, this is what I learned. Maybe you should try this, and then everybody's having fun.
Yeah, we need to get Mark 10 out there coaching too. I'm gonna shout his name out there because he's a huge, obviously Pirelli and everyone that's supported me for the last 7 years since I've been on Pirellis. That's a funny story if you want to talk about the Dunlop problems.
Yeah,
But
let's do it.
we could throw them under the bus right now. But no, Mark 10 is a huge, believer in just regular coaching and just being there for people. And, he's a great person. So wanted to give that shout out to him.
Oh, listen, I give Mark 10 Motorsports a shout out every podcast. He's an absolutely amazing human being. He'll sit down and have a conversation, get the shirt off your back, hook you up with Pirelli tires, right? Well, not hook you up, you're gonna pay for him, but he's your guy, right? Yeah, Mark 10 is absolutely amazing. I want to get him nailed down. One day he'll come on my podcast.
Yeah, we'll get him on it.
He's like, I'm shy. I'm like, don't be shy.
We'll cause some problems. We'll get him on there.
I know we will. I know. Yeah, it was an honor to finally meet him at Daytona too. I met him. I met his daughter. I want to say his brother, or maybe that was your brother I met, Dan.
Yeah, you met my brother too.
Yes, maybe that was him. Does Mark have a brother?
Yeah, he wasn't there this year though. Not
Okay.
Mark.
All right. But I did meet his daughter, and I think maybe his daughter's boyfriend.
Yeah, and then Nancy, his wife.
Yeah, and then Nancy. Yeah. No, yeah.
Yep, they're all great people.
Absolutely amazing human being. So if anybody's in Florida, listen, Mark 10 Motorsports, look him up. He's always there at the track, dishing out Pirelli tires and knowledge as always.
I already told him if he was ever to switch manufacturers, that I would go with him. So if he ends up being a Dunlop rep tomorrow, I'll be on Dunlops tomorrow.
So before we get off here, you got to tell me about this Dunlop story, man. You can't just leave me hanging.
Oh, the Dunlop story. So I feel like Jason Farrell sometimes, where they just kind of want to screw everybody over. That's a privateer. So 2018 was the last year that I ran them in the Daytona 200. Well, that's when they came out with the 180 tire. So it was a 190 tire. Then they went to a 180 tire for that year. That's when the Beast high-sided to the moon and, did that big tear up. Well, anyways, they said that we had to run around 26 PSI in the rear tires. Every one of us was destroying tires in 4 to 5 laps. So the only people I figured it out was Suzuki, and they went in like 33 PSI in the rear. And then they were getting clean tires. So I asked Dave Weaver, not that I should probably throw his name out there, what they were doing. And he was like, oh, pump the rear up way more than what Dunlop's saying to make it run cooler. So we got the tire wear problem fixed. So I go to start the 200, and you know how you always have your grid walk. So we got tire warmers on the whole 9 yards. Well, my crew's trying to grab all the stuff. So I push the bike, and I'm like, man, this steering is like super, super hard right now. Like, did somebody turn up the stabilizer? So I look down. No, somebody didn't turn. Because I have kids sit on my bike because I'm one of them people like, hey, take pictures all you want. So I look at that, and I'm like, nope, that isn't the problem. So I'm like, hey, guys, check something in the front end. Something's wrong. Yeah, my front tire had 4 PSI in it. Yeah. So
4 PSI.
4 PSI in it. So thankfully we had another rim and tire. So we're out there before the sighting lap changing a tire. We did not have a quick change that year. So we literally had to pull calipers, pull the axle, the whole 9 yards because we had the plan of running one front tire the whole race unless we got a red flag, and yeah, we just barely got the other front tire on before the race started. So then in the race, we actually put a rear tire on, and I had to come in and pit again because there was vibration. Well, they gave me an out of round tire, and then tried to blame it on me, just like they did with Jason Farrell. Oh, you should have checked that stuff. Don't you guys spin it on a balancing stand? Wouldn't you
Right.
see that it has like a 3-inch hop in it? You know what I mean? So it was a brand new tire on a rim. Like, why would we check it? You know what I mean? So frustrating. So we had to make a unscheduled pit stop, which then ended up costing us at least a 10th place finish in the 200. We finished 11th that year, but a top 10 was definitely doable. But thanks to Dunlop, they ruined that chance for us.
Dunlop.
Yeah. So I've also seen a stack of no good tires at a Moto America event at Daytona, where they were literally tossing tires off to the side that were brand new because they weren't round. So anyone that rides Dunlops, sorry, but check your own tires.
Better make sure it's not. Yeah, they're supposed to be black and round, right? Not black and oblong. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I was always a Pirelli man. I loved the instant grip and feel that Pirelli's always gave me right out the jump. I did ride on Dunlops there for a while, just to try because you got to try, right? And Bridgestones, dude, I love the Bridgestones too. I think tires is one of those things where it just people have their own certain feel and what they're confident in, right? So to speak. Because if you're not, that's what it all comes down to, people, is the confidence in those two black round things, if they're going to stick or not. That's what it boils down to. That's why you set up the motorcycle to get the best feeling from the front and the rear and all that as you're dancing at the track. So
for me, it's more of the support thing because again, they're all black and round. I think every manufacturer makes a great tire.
yeah.
Yes, you may have to change some of your setup to make them work, but at the end of the day, they're all black and round. It comes down to the support that you're getting from them people.
Yeah.
So Oscar and Mark 10 and all the guys at Pirelli are like a second family to me. I'm in there mounting tires. I don't know if you've seen me at Daytona, but I was in the garage mounting tires before the 200, helping them guys out. So
Oh, I seen you one time. I come by to look for you. I went over there where Mark was. I seen you back there, so I turned back around. I was like, "Oh, he's busy. I'll catch up with him." Right again, what I said earlier, when I'm at the races and I see my friends, I don't get a whole lot of time to, because it's usually like when I'm super busy, I don't have the time. You're free, and then when you're super busy and I'm free and I got the time, it just don't
right, it doesn't
work well
match
sometimes.
because
It doesn't mesh. And
that's why club racing's good because you got all the time in the world. It's like, oh, I got 7 races before I race and got nothing going on. Come hang out.
come hang out. Let's do it. Let's have a cold beer and yeah, dude, I'm with it, man. Absolutely with it. Well, listen, man, this has been a lot of fun. We're an hour and 20 minutes into this already. Goes by so quick.
It does.
Just stay on with me for a few minutes, and when I end this podcast, we'll go ahead and schedule our next one. But yeah, so big shout out to Mark 10, of course, dude. My Stick Boy Racing, he is Dunlop, but big shout out to my man Stick Boy. For those of you that run Dunlops, which is nothing wrong with them, I like Dunlops too. So, and then Pit Lane Moto, my buddy Zeb, he's a Pirelli vendor out here. So yeah, big shout out to them guys. But I'm gonna let you in the podcast here in a second. I just want to give all my shout outs real quick. First and foremost, as I always say, thank you guys and girls so much for watching this podcast and liking and subscribing. If you have not yet, hit the bells and the dings and the tings and all that good stuff. Because if it wasn't for my buddy Dan and all my friends that sat down with me, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. It's because of you guys and girls that come on here. I'm able to do this. And as always, it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you. I really mean it. And I say it all the time. And I've been saying it for the past 3 years. It's an honor to be able to sit down and do this. So thank you guys and girls very much for making this happen, because you guys are the stars. Big shout out to Next Level Financial. Take control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial analysis today. My buddy Seth Starnes, he also has Next Level Suspension. I know you know Seth, Dan.
Oh,
Yeah. Seth's absolutely amazing. So any suspension needs there at the track, he's always down there in Florida driving around to events, ripping off front forks and rear shocks and doing his magic, and you're going faster around the track. So Give them a look. Big shout out to Chef Eats. Use the discount code Pin the Gas and save you 10%. TST Industries. Everybody asks me all the time, where do I get my soft shell jacket and my beanie hats and stuff from? Get them from my man Martin. theclothingkings.co.uk is the website. At the top of it, it'll say partnership. Scroll down, you will see Pin the Gas podcast, and you can get your soft shell jacket and your beanie hats and t-shirts and sweatshirts and all that good stuff. So big shout out to him. SFL Mini GP, you guys and girls can go to, our kids, tell your parents they need to go to this website, miniusasbk.com. I know they have a big event coming up in October too as well. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thing I love about it, it's no bullshit. You just register and show up. You don't need a bike, leathers, boots, gloves. They provide everything. They just need you. They just need you to show up. So you show up and have fun, get in the sport, and we thank you very much for it. Big shout out to RD Racing, my man Jake Marsh out there in the UK, and all my UK friends. Vet2Track. If I have any veterans out there, you need to go to the website vet2track.org. My buddy Jim Whitman has an amazing program. So any vets out there that's, struggling with whatever it is you're going through, his whole motto is curing PTSD one lap at a time. So get involved. It's an awesome program. I know I say it all the time. I can't, it's proper mega, as I always say. So go check them out. Flying Eyes Optics, for all your sunglass needs, use a discount code Pin the Gas, save 10%. I got 2 friends that make undersuits. Oh, I got a bunch of friends that make undersuits in the industry, but 2 of them I always give a shout out to is my man Tate at 64 Degree Racing. He makes absolutely proper mega undersuits. I got 2 full custom undersuits from him, and I stay in those all the time. They're absolutely hands down my favorite, and I got a shit ton of undersuits. The next one is my girl Aliki, Mama Aliki at venomsport.com. She actually sent me a custom t-shirt. You guys see me wear it. It's absolutely hands down. I love that t-shirt. My wife's always like, are you ever going to wash that thing? I'm like, no, I'm good. I love it, dude. I do, Dan. I freaking love that shirt. It's absolutely amazing. So if anybody's out there looking for an undersuit, please go look up 64 Degree Racing and go look up venomsport.com. And also all my California friends out there in CRA, sign up for the Racer 411 program. Racers Helping Racers. It's an amazing program. I just had a leaky on from Venom the other day. Go back and rewatch that podcast. There's a lot of info in that. I'd be on here for another 45 minutes telling you guys and girls all about it, but go check it out. It's absolutely amazing. I need everybody right now to go to roadracingworld.com and donate to the air fence. It's imperative that we have those air fences, whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever it is. Listen, it's much appreciated, because if we don't have the air fence, guess what? Dan's not going racing, and we're not going to watch Moto America race or any type of racing at all. So please go and donate. And if you're lucky, I think it's $350 is the minimum donation. And if Chris Ulrich is there, which is a legend with his 2-up ride, I'm pretty sure it's $350. You get a 2-up lap with the legend. He'll show you all about deep braking and getting hard on the gas with somebody on the back. And if he can do it with you on the back, imagine what you can do if you actually learn the proper way of riding. What you need to get coaching. Dan's a coach, so you guys hit him up. Big shout out to BTR, Bill Train Race. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Bill Train Race. I cannot wait to hang out with all my girls at VIR. I'm gonna be a guest of them. Man, we're gonna have a proper mega weekend for sure. I can't wait. Big shout out to KYT Helmets, K-Tech Suspension, Ghetto Customs for all your custom body work. Chris Parrish makes the best body work in the business, in my personal opinion. So if anybody's in the market for body work, hit up Chris Parrish. I got 3 friends that make graphics in the industry. Okay. One is Dripping Wet Graphics. The other one is REB Graphics. And the third one is GRG Designs, which is Gus Rodeos. I kept saying graphics, but it's GRG Designs, Gus Rodeo Designs. So if anybody's out there in the market, get some custom graphics made for your helmet or your car or your Grom or your bike or whatever it is, you're not going to go wrong by hitting any 3 of them up, because they're absolutely amazing. Big shout out to Woodcraft, Mark 10 Motorsports, Free Hug Racing, Nicole Polyich Photography, Stickboy Racing, Adrenaline Engineer, Pitlane Moto, and TBEXUSAExperience.org. So if anybody, or you know of anybody that's been unfortunate, been in an accident, they might be paralyzed, they might have one arm or one leg, you, my friend, can get back out there and ride on that bike. It's absolutely possible. You can get out there and race even. No BS. give them a look up, tbexusaexperience.org. And last but not least, big shout out to all my friends at CW Moto and Moto America. They race in 600 Super Sport class with my boy Luca Allen, all the way from BSB. So when you guys go to Mid Ohio, they will be there. Please make sure you stop by CW Moto, say hi to Luca and Chris and everybody, and get you a picture and an autograph. And of course, all my other friends there in Moto America too as well. So yeah, that's all I got. Dan, tell everybody, give all your shout outs, where they can find you on social media, where they can hit you up for some proper coaching and all that good stuff.
So I'm Dan Spalding 411 on TikTok and Instagram, and then it's Dan Spalding on Facebook with a U, SPAULDING. Everyone always spells my name wrong, like the basketball. Shout out to the Free Hugs Racing team. Obviously, they've been a huge support of mine. We use each and every one of them every weekend when we go club racing, and even for the 200 weekends. All them guys that are racers end up becoming my pit crew, and then we all help each other there. TST Industries, you already said them guys, but Bart and the crew over there. I got some goodies on my bike from TST, which they've always made great parts, and they're local to me. They're literally 15 minutes away from where I live. So support the local people. I'm always one of them. Mark 10 Motorsports and Pirelli. You know, without them guys, I wouldn't have black and round tires. I would have some square ones and some grip issues. So can't say enough about both of them. L Car Wash is my actual job, and they sponsored me for the Daytona 200, and we're trying to work on some plans for next year and see if they can, put their name out there. MV Racing with Darwin, for my suits and my gloves and things like that. Darwin's been a huge supporter of mine since the beginning. Purchased one of my race bikes that I destroyed, so he's still got parts from it, I'm sure, in his R6 collection. But besides for that, it's everything I got here.
Listen, I love it, man. It's such an honor to sit back down with you, Dan. Oh, and I can't believe I didn't. Two more things real quick is, listen, people, when you go to buy gear, leathers, boots, gloves, parts, whatever, support your friends in the industry. It's huge. Please support all your friends in the industry. Don't go buy from Joe Blow down the street or your dealer down here. Support all your friends in the industry. If anybody's interested in buying anything for your motorcycles, hit me up. I got 1,000 friends in the industry. I can easily send you to any one of them. But the big point I'm making is support your friends in the industry, support the industry. So if you're going to buy from the industry, not Amazon, not Walmart, not TikTok, not Temu, not none of that. The industry. And last thing on that I'm gonna say is, man, Dan is the first Pendergast ambassador, and I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support, Dan. It means absolutely the world to me. It really does. And yeah, I just had to throw that out there, man. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate everything you do for the sport. So, we want to continue to make this thing grow and obviously get it back to where it was in its, previous life. So, we can continue to do this. It'd be great. So,
100% we will. And on that note, I'm out of here, guys and girls. Hopefully I'll see everybody at VR. You guys will see me before VR, but yeah, I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, Dan, just stay on with me for a second. And on that note, we are out of here. We will see you guys soon. All right, let me stop this. I don't know. I got the balloon to come up. That was weird. I've always tried to get the balloon to come up. When I try to get the balloon to come up, it don't never want to come